What Home Rule Authority grants a municipality is a broad range of options that local government can employ, for example, for economic development. As we all know, there's a tremendous burden on non-home rule municipalities to rely on property taxes to fund the operations of government. What Home Rule Authority allows municipalities to do is it gives them a broader base of items that can be negotiated when we are trying to attract economic development. The more economic development we have in our community lowers the burden of property taxes being one of the primary sources for revenue within our community. On average, home rule communities' property taxes are actually lower for home rule communities than it is for non-home rule communities. And it's because Home Rule Authority gives a broader spectrum of things that we can tap into for revenue to support infrastructure improvement, staff enhancement, parks and recs, the various programs that we do, replacing equipment that we have to replace on an ongoing basis. So it broadens the tools that are in our tool belt when we attract economic development. One question that we often hear is, does Home Rule Authority give a municipality unbridled authority to raise taxes? And the answer is no. In the village of Richton Park, I've been in my capacity here for almost 20 years now. We have a very long history of being fiscally responsible, and every time that there's an increase in a fee, if we feel it's necessary, we vet that very carefully with our staff and the board. But I think it's a very positive thing, and what needs to be looked at is the board's track record. Every year for at least the last 20 years, we've passed balanced budgets. We always carefully assess the need to increase any fees or taxes. We are capped under the property tax cap rates currently, but in the future, after the commitment to freeze our property tax rate for 5 years, the board's history indicates that we've always been very fiscally responsible. As a matter of fact, we've received numerous national awards and recognition, not only for our budget process, but the transparency involved with that process. Another question that we get is, how would Home Rule Authority directly benefit our residents? The board has committed to a number of things if the voters grant us Home Rule Authority. One of the items is the board has agreed to eliminate vehicle sticker fees for all residential vehicle stickers. That can be a substantial savings for many of our households. The board is also committed to freezing the village's property tax rate for a period up to 5 years, with a commitment to reevaluate at that time the status and the need for possibly adjusting our property taxes. Also, the board has committed to freezing the water rates for residential users within our community for also a period of 5 years. And lastly, the board has committed to waiving fees for residents for the use of our parks. So those are direct impacts. We are confident that the Home Rule Authority will allow us to make up those losses in revenues or those frozen revenues, because it will allow us to enhance our efforts in terms of economic development for our community. Recently in the media, we've seen a lot about the arrivals of the migrants to the Chicago area, and quite frankly, all over the country. One of the reasons that we're considering the request to give us the authority for Home Rule Authority is only Home Rule Authority communities are able to regulate the buses as they arrive into our community. Absent that authority, we've seen buses drop off people at all hours of the night, unannounced, no scheduled arrival times, and we're seeing the majority of the home rule communities in the region enact legislation that requires notification and requires specific times that the buses can drop the migrants off. We need that for the safety of the migrants that are coming into our region, to make sure that they're able to complete their journey to the city of Chicago. But we have to know that they're coming, and absent home rule, we're not able to put anything in place that regulates the arrival of the buses.